Welcome to Vintage Auto Garage. My name is Jay, and I want to show you our high torque starter, the 3244 GR. This starter happens to fit a lot of vehicles. I'm going to read them off here. So they fit the Chrysler 35 to 54, the Chrysler Windsor 39 to 41, the Plymouth 34 to 56, the DeSoto 35 to 56, and then the Dodge truck and Dodge car 33 to 56. So you can see this is a very universal starter that fits a lot of these years. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about a high torque starter and why they call it that. So these are gear reduction starters, and these came out in the 80s, as the compression ratio in the engine started to increase, those old starters were just not going to cut it. So they came up with a gear reduction starter. So this is the motor here. This is the set of gears. Of course, the motor's turning faster and provides more torque to the pinion gear. There's a built-in solenoid, so there's no other solenoid actually needed when you install these, which is terrific, and no setting up a solenoid. And this is the mounting. So if you can see this, it mounts with these onto the bell housing with these two elongated holes. So we've never had one of these that didn't fit, and pretty simple to install. Okay, so I removed these two Allen screws from this plate before the video. So this plate can be removed, and it also allows the starter to be clocked. So you can clock this starter into 4 different positions. So if you mount this starter onto your bell housing and you find, oh, there's something that's interfering, so you can pull it back out, reclock it, put your Allen screws back in, and reinstall it, and you should be good. Okay. These starters weigh, I think, 8.3 pounds, so they're way lighter than that starter that you're going to be pulling out, so it's much easier to handle. We've even, through some of the feedback from the customers on different cars, and the reason why this can fit so many different cars is because we've notched some of this out on this plate here, so to avoid some interference. So that's how we were able to get this one starter to fit so many different cars. Okay, so these come pre-shimmed. And the purpose for a shim is to move the pinion gear in and out in relationship to the flywheel. Okay, so you want the pinion gear to be, you can't have the pinion gear touching the flywheel teeth. Okay, otherwise you're going to grind them off. And sometimes you can hear that if it's just if they're just barely touching. It means that the starter pinion is too far into that ring gear. Okay, so there needs to be a clearance, and we figured out, the clearances on all of these starters that we build, so they come pre-shimmed. And where the shim is on these starters is actually between this plate and the housing. So this is the shim. This is a 2mm shim. So they go here, and then the plate goes on, and that adjusts the ratio or the measurement between the pinion gear at rest and the flywheel. Okay, so the more shims you have, the further back the pinion will be. The less shim you have, the further in and more engagement. Okay, so if you did get into a situation where there was something unusual about your vehicle, or there's a change of a ring gear or pinion or flywheel, something, you can always order up another 2mm shim, and you can simply put that shim in there, put the plate back on. Now you've moved this back another 2mm. Okay, so in this case you've moved it a total of 4mm. All right, so we'll take that one back out because this one doesn't actually need any extra shims. Okay, so that's the shimming of it. Again, this is the pinion gear, so it's a 9-tooth pinion gear, and then as the power is applied to the solenoid, it actually extends this pinion gear right into the flywheel. Okay. So there's a couple little rubber vents, and that's what these little guys are here. This vents the gearbox, and this vents the motor. Nothing will ever come out, so it doesn't matter where these are, relationship. It doesn't have to be pointed down or up or anything. It's just an atmospheric vent. Nothing's ever going to leak out of those. Okay, this is where the battery cable goes directly onto the starter, and you always want to go directly to the starter from your battery. And then this little red pigtail that's got a butt connector on it, that goes right to your key switch. So super simple. Okay, so to hook this up, once you get it installed, and you're going to put your battery cable on, you're going to put your battery cable right onto this right here. But before we do that, let me talk about battery cables. So all battery cables are not really made equally. It's really frustrating if you're out on a ride or you go someplace and you stop your car and you're going to restart it and you find the battery cable is corroded or there's a problem with it. Remember that this takes a lot of current to start a starter. So these battery cables take a lot of work that you really can't see. So the battery cables that we manufacture are all copper, and then we put a shrink wrap on both ends. So this keeps this well connected and also keeps the moisture out and the corrosion out. So again, these are all copper, lifetime guarantee. So anytime that you're going to change your starter, you're going to change your car from 6 to 12 volts, invest in a good set of battery cables. Okay, so you just simply connect that up here. And again, you connect your red wire to the key switch and you're done. So this changeover with these starters, it goes really fast. The hardest part is crawling underneath the car. Okay, so if you have a car or a truck that has a foot pedal starter, the old mechanical foot pedal starter, this isn't going to work without adding a different key switch, okay? There's no way to really make this practically work with that foot pedal, because that foot pedal was a mechanical device that pushed the pinion gear into the flywheel, and then it had a little switch there that would start the motor. So we've come up with a key switch kit that you can use on anybody's starter. It doesn't have to be ours. It's a WKS1. It comes with a new key switch with 2 keys, and it's just a standard key switch. It should fit right in the existing hole. Comes with the nuts and the washers and everything. And then it just has the start function and the run, the off, and the accessory, okay? So to connect this up, you want to install this into your dashboard, and then you want to take the wiring harness and fish it down through your firewall. So you have the brown wire is going to be connected to the key switch on the start function, okay, of the key switch. That's the brown wire. The other end of the brown wire, after you get it down through your firewall and down to your starter, is going to connect right here to the red wire, okay? So when you turn the key switch, you're going to send 12 volts down into that solenoid, okay? So that's the brown wire. You got a red wire, and that's your power wire. So you need to get power up to this key switch. And the best way to do this is direct from the battery. So you don't have to take it from someplace else underneath the dash, which is really nice. You just simply connect this battery, the red wire, up to the same place that you put your battery cable. So now you got a really good 12 volt connection right up to your key switch. We also send it with a fuse. You want to fuse this red wire, because remember, this is coming right off your battery right up to your key switch, and then you're going to connect the other end of this with these little connectors onto the key switch, okay, onto the battery post of the key switch. And these key switches are all marked, okay? So you always want to make sure you add a fuse to this anytime that you have a power wire going up into your car. And it comes again with these little tie wraps so you can neaten it up. Okay, so that's, I think I've covered everything. So this is the 3244 GR. Fits primarily the Chrysler, Dodge, Plymouth, DeSoto vehicles. And if you have any questions, you can visit us on our website, or you can give us a call. And thank you very much for watching.